All right, welcome back into the Texan Live coverage of the Texas High School Coaches Association Convention from the George R. Brown Convention Center in downtown Houston. Bill Barstow is our guest now, new head basketball coach at West Orange Stark. First year taking over WOS. You come from Central Texas. What was the decision to take over the job at West Orange?
Well, I had interviewed 4 or 5 years ago with Coach Thompson.
Oh, okay.
And didn't get the job at that time. And then upon leaving my job at Groesbeck High School, Coach Thompson reached out to me and said, I want you to come down here and be my coach. And yeah, it's a different culture, and I didn't want to necessarily just keep moving and hopping, but
right.
The money became right, and the athletes became right, and the whole environment is just a good fit for me, and I love it down here. And like I said, I'm not going anywhere else.
Taking over a program, what are some of the first steps you have to do as a head coach to get that program where you want it?
The first step I did was basically first off getting to know the whole athletic program. What does my AD expect out of me? And it's amazing what Coach Thompson does with those kids, and those kids are third and fourth generation kids of kids who've been through it before. So it's a hard nosed, it's an extremely tough athletic program, and that's why they're so successful in football as they are. And so coming in, I had to make sure that the kids knew who I was. I reached out to all the kids, did some open gym stuff just to let them see, and then I always kind of have a theory of coaching. It's kind of like building a garden, and you plant the garden. It's your garden. Everybody has a good, garden in their house. They planted whatever they want, flowers, trees, whatever. But then the garden is only as pretty or is only as good as you tend it to be, And so you got weeds growing in your garden. They might be pretty weeds, but at some point they're taken away from what you want to do, and you got to pull the weeds. And so coming in, I got very involved with my freshman group coming in. I like to be involved I was at Alma Junior High, 8th grade games, so getting involved with the younger kids early and getting them to know me, and the seniors that want to do what I ask them to do, then that's fine. If the senior doesn't want to do it, then no hard feelings, go graduate.
Bill Barstow's our guest, new head basketball coach at West Orange Stark. Whenever the fans of West Orange Stark that are watching your basketball program for the first time this year, what should they expect? What kind of brand of ball do you bring to West Orange Stark?
Everybody that talks about my teams and has at any other school, whatever, talks about how hard we play, how tough we play, how the kids, we did a summer league tournament over at Vinton, Louisiana, about 3 weeks ago, and played 2 games over there, and a lady from Vinton that I've never met before came up, and she just commended my kids on, how respectful they were, and and that kind of stuff. You're going to see us play hard. I'm a protege of Chris Dyer in DeSoto High School. Learned a lot from him when I thought I already knew something. Just got done reaching out to him a couple weeks ago, and they pride on defense, and that's what we're going to do. I'm one that I like the fundamentals of the game. I'm a math teacher too, and so I'm a problem solver, and so I want my kids to be able to think and solve problems and become fast thinkers. I tell them every day, that the odds of them prolonging and playing either at the college level or at the pro level, they're not good odds, you know. But when you leave my school, when you leave the program, just as I, have kids in the past who have done it. Matter of fact, I was hanging with one last night here in town who was a former player of mine that played at Tarleton. We just hashing old things, and he said he made the comment about, that he was more prepared for college because of the way I coached him in high school. And so, whether you're going to college or whether you're going into the working world, there's going to be a problem every day, and I'm just trying to teach you how to solve it. And that's what my kids pretty much. By the time they get it figured out, that's what they're figuring out.
I think that's one of the most admirable things with coaches, especially in the high school level, is teaching boys, really, when you get them freshmen, and creating men and putting them in a good position to succeed in any aspect of life. And, I've had so many coaches tell me that the biggest compliment they can get is whenever they tell a coach that your team plays hard. So it seems like you've had that compliment a time or two. You mentioned the college game, and I'm sure you've watched the college basketball game in the state of Texas. Where do you think college basketball is right now in the state of Texas with a lot of really good programs?
a lot of good programs. Obviously, Coach Beard at Texas Tech, did a big time thing. And of course, I was just in an interview or a lecture with Coach Sampson at U of H, and they had a great year. And basketball's always been good in Texas. I've been doing it 25 years now, and I remember the Fab Five group from Michigan, and how two of them came from the state of Texas, and of course being at DeSoto, and all the kids that we've had successfully come out of there, and being at a practice and seeing Coach THSCA and these coaches in our gym, at times many years ago, but so it's always been big. I'm glad to see a lot of the kids staying here in the state, and programs like A&M that were notoriously football programs are now just as tough in basketball and so forth. And SMU can get a coach like Larry Brown to come in and coach. That's big for basketball in Texas. So, and then of course the smaller programs. Tarleton State. Not many people talk about a Division II program. Well, that's the kid I was with, or the young man I was with last night. That's where he ended up going, and he was told, you're going to redshirt whatever. Well, his freshman year, he ended up being sixth man of the year in the conference, and ended up being two-time defensive player of the year. And I got good connections with Tarleton State, and watching them in a Division II national championship game on TV.
Yeah, that's great.
It's basketball. There's just still plenty of room to grow. Is where it's going. So, the game itself, it's still got some of the fundamental aspects, but of course, their next level is pro. And I'm not a real big fan of the NBA game.
It's a different game.
It is. It's a different game. I can get super critical if I wanted to, but it looks like it's going to a 2-on-2 league now. Is where it's going.
The dynamic duos.
But that's with my kids that I'm coaching now. I get them in the gym and they're shooting, and all of a sudden I look up and they're working on the quote James Harden step back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey kid, you can't do that at our level.
Steph Curry 30-foot jumpers.
Yeah, well, or the 1, 2, 3 skip then jump, and you can't do that at our level. So but you just got to kind of tone the kids down and don't look at the pro level.
Yeah.
Look at the college level, and you don't have to go. So many kids are just mesmerized, or I guess thinking that. I got to go D1, or D1 is where it's at. My son just graduated Centenary College in Shreveport.
Yep.
And I'm super proud of him, and played 3 years there before injuries got to him. But, whether it's Texas A&M or whether it's ETBU, I got a chance to see a lot of, Division III schools play, because of my son, and it's just as competitive and they're just as good. And, you see a lot of kids now that are going D1 that are transferring after their first year because they didn't play, and they're transferring down to get to play. So the competition level is good at all levels.
Oh yeah, there's good basketball to be had all around. What are you taking away from coaching school? I know we're winding down, final day of the convention, but what have been some takeaways you've had of the last 3 days?
Obviously, it's very well attended as always. It's big time, and you see a lot of friends and stuff from around the state. The thing with me having traveled around the state and having quite a few jobs on my resume is I've made contacts in all different parts of the state as well. But the speakers that I've gone to and listened to within the basketball realm, Coach Golding at Abilene Christian, I was in listening to his stuff yesterday. Of course, Coach Sampson today. Doing it 25 years, I always look for something new to pick up, whether it's just a motto, whether it's, a play or here or there or whatever, or how can I make my small school somewhat relatable to what you're doing at a much larger level, and that's kind of where, what I pick up when I go to the lectures. I'm not one who writes everything down. I take a picture of things and so forth. But, when the college guys come in and talk, those are the guys I like to go. And then, of course, Barry Bourne was just here this morning from Liberty Hill. And, he's a 4A coach dealing with undersized teams.
Yeah.
And, that's just anything I can pick up, that's the key thing.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for stopping by. I really enjoyed the conversation. We'll be watching you in your first year at West Orange Stark.
This will be my second year. Last year was our first. Yeah.
I misunderstood you. Well, Bill Barstow, the head coach at West Orange Stark, going into his second season. Made the playoffs last year, going into his second season at West Orange Stark. We'll be back with more coverage on Texan Live of the Texas High School Coaches Association Convention.